There's Aslund, who's a professor at Georgetown University in the United States. He joins us from Florida. Professor, thank you for your time. Have a listen to these names. Subotin, Maganov, Shulman, Melnikov, Julyakov, Watford, Magnitsky, Esterimova, Politkovskaya, Yushchenko, Voronov, Avayev, Kachenko, Krukovsky, Nemtsov, Prigozhin, Navalny. Something strange is happening, Anders.
Yeah, no, not really strange, but a big event. You can say that Navalny's death was not surprising, but deeply shocking. Major deaths in Russia in prison tend to be very important. And you can say that Russia had only two real politicians, Putin and Navalny. And I think of when Anatoly Marchenko, a leading Soviet dissident, died, 48 years old, in a camp in 1986. That led to the big liberalization of Gorbachev's regime. And I think that this is a big blow to Putin, and because Russians know how to celebrate their martyrs. I think that Navalny's death, if it is confirmed, as I presume, that this will be considered a major event in the history of Russia.
Yeah, I mean, all of these names are former critics or opponents of Vladimir Putin. They come from different walks of life, from business, from journalism, from politics as well. And they all died in rather unusual circumstances, shall we say. Garry Kasparov, the former world chess champion, says that Putin has murdered Navalny slowly and publicly in prison. Anders, why didn't the Russians take greater care of him if, as you say, his death might spark some kind of, not necessarily uprising, but a greater movement?
Well, clearly Putin killed him, as Kasparov said, and he slowly tortured him to death. I saw a picture of Putin today looking very happy. Haven't seen him so happy for a long time. This is a true dictator who really enjoys the death of his enemies. And this is the most important death of a political enemy of Putin. I knew Boris Nemtsov well, who was murdered in 2015, but he did not have the same following as Navalny has had. He was the true opposition leader.
Over the past few months, as Russia heads to an election next month, a few opposition candidates have been removed from the list because of some kind of failure to follow the legal process of registering as candidates. Do you think Navalny's death is going to make any difference to how people may vote in March, or are there actually no opposition figures standing against Putin?
Well, I don't think that these elections are likely to be very important because everything is so controlled. But you never know. Putin's regime is based on clay feet. All of a sudden it can collapse, and we cannot predict how or when, because it's likely to be a spontaneous event when the regime has simply gone too far, distanced itself too far from the population, and people say enough is enough. But we don't know that.
Anders Aslund, thank you, Professor.
My pleasure.